What we need is not more medication, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. This is Exposé, coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria, every Monday on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook simultaneously. I'm the regular host, Tony Akinyemi. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. Hello and welcome to Exposé with Tony Akinyemi, brought to you by the Shepherd's Flock International Church. We continue our discourse on therapeutic gases. And I picked out 3 gases in particular that we're going to be talking about their medical application or their therapeutic and prophylactic uses. And the first gas is hydrogen gas. So we'll be talking about hydrogen therapy in greater details today and hopefully next week as well, because there's a lot to cover. As I was rounding off last week, I mentioned a few things about hydrogen, which I want to reiterate today. The first is that hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe, constituting nearly 75% of the universe's mass. Second is that hydrogen is the fuel that powers the sun, and it can definitely power the human body too. Thirdly, it has been established as far as we know that hydrogen has no non-biological toxicity. That means no side effects whatsoever, as far as we know. Number 4, that hydrogen can be used therapeutically and prophylactically. In other words, to treat disease and to prevent disease. And finally, number 5, that hydrogen is now being used to target all kinds of diseases. I also mentioned the fact that a lot of clinical studies have already been done, and there are many ongoing clinical studies on the medical application of molecular hydrogen. If you check the website clinicaltrials.gov, as at August 2020, there are over 700 ongoing clinical studies regarding the medical application of molecular oxygen. And there are already over 1,500 published papers on the benefits of molecular hydrogen in wellness and well-being. And several studies have clearly indicated that hydrogen therapy is actually beneficial in about 170 diseases. So how is hydrogen administered? What are the routes of administration for hydrogen? Essentially 2. There may be others, but I'll be talking about 2 that I am very familiar with. One is through inhalation, when you inhale the hydrogen gas. And the second one is by enriching your water with hydrogen. And then you drink hydrogen-enriched water. It is said that when you drink hydrogen-enriched water, approximately 40% of the hydrogen there will be absorbed into your system in a short while, and it will exert its therapeutic and prophylactic effects on your body as you drink. Now, each hydrogen inhalation combined with drinking hydrogen-enriched water provides many days of therapeutic and protective benefits when you inhale and you drink. And here I have with me my own hydrogen bottle. This is my hydrogen water bottle. Okay, I actually have got 2 different types. Somebody gave me one free of charge, and then I bought this one. So I have 2 different types. So this is the cable. You can plug it. It has a small socket here that you plug it into. And all you need to do is, it has this one. My own has a USB plug. I mean, your own may have a 2-pin plug or a 3-pin plug. It depends on the model and the variety that you buy. But mine just has this, which means I can plug this into my power bank. And I can also plug it into my desktop or my laptop if it has a USB port. Now I have a laptop in front of me here, and I'm just simply going to plug this into my laptop. It's plugged. And then it has a switch at the bottom, which I just press, and it's on. And it continues to produce hydrogen molecule inside the water. And once it is done, it automatically switches itself off. And then I drink the water. All right, so you can drink hydrogen water, and I'm sure they're going to show you the image of hydrogen water bottle also on the screen, in case the one you're looking at here is not as clear as possible. They'll show you one on the screen. It costs somewhere between $40 and $200. It all depends on the grade, the model, and your source, where you're buying it from. If you go on Amazon.com, you find it ranging from around $42 to about $199. I mean, that's why I approximated it to $40 to $200. Now, the one that somebody gave me free of charge, I don't know how much she bought it, but she sent it to me from the United States of America. But this one that I bought by myself here in Nigeria cost $200. Whatever the exchange rate in Naira at the time you are paying, that's the amount in Naira that you pay, okay, to get your own hydrogen water bottle. Now, so what is the peculiarity of hydrogen and why it is particularly suited as a therapeutic gas? Now, the unique thing about the hydrogen molecule is that it can easily penetrate our cell membranes. Now, our cell membranes provide the boundary for our cells. And you know, your cell is the basic unit of life in your body. You are composed of trillions of cells. Each one of us is composed of trillions of cells. Some say 30 trillion, some say up to 100 trillions of cells in our bodies. Now, each cell has a membrane. Imagine a football, the leather, and then you have the space on the inside. The space on the inside contains some things, the cytoplasm, the nucleus, and several organelles. Those organelles include mitochondria, and so on and so forth. Now, the external boundary of your cell is called the cell membrane. And the cell membrane is what regulates what goes into your cell and what comes out of your cell. The passage of things in and out of your cell, how easy that happens is called your cell membrane fluidity. How fluid is your cell membrane? The cell membrane will block out certain things, will not allow them to go into the cell, and will not also allow certain things to escape from the cell. So the cell membrane is like your immigration department. They regulate influx and efflux, what goes in and what goes out. Okay, now hydrogen can easily penetrate cell membranes. The cell membranes cannot stop it from entering. It can easily cross the border, cross the barrier, you know. That's the unique thing about hydrogen gas. It can easily cross your cell membranes. Now, so because of this unique ability to enter our cells and even enter into the organelles of the cell, that is, the organelles are the tiny structures within the cells, okay, such as your mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell where the refining of fuel takes place. When you eat, your food is digested in your digestive tract. If you eat carbohydrate, for example, the end product of that digestion is glucose. The glucose is absorbed through the wall of your digestive tract, the wall of your small intestine. It enters into your bloodstream. And then the blood circulates the glucose around the body. Each cell then takes the glucose in as insulin opens the door to the cells. So as glucose enters into the cell, the glucose go into your mitochondria, which is the refinery, where the glucose is now refined into adenosine triphosphate, which is the fuel that your body now uses to generate energy. Okay, so the mitochondria is one of the organelles in your cell. Then the nucleus is another organelle in your cell where your DNA actually resides. Now, other molecules cannot penetrate deeply into our cells as easily as hydrogen. Hydrogen has that unique capability. Now, so when hydrogen finally penetrates into our cells through the cell membrane and it gets in there, how does it impact on the activities going on in the cells? In other words, how does hydrogen work in our body? How does it work? Particularly its mechanism of action on our genes. Since your DNA actually resides in your nucleus and hydrogen can penetrate into your nucleus, it can penetrate into your mitochondria, it can get right into the cytoplasm of the cell. So what is the mechanism of action of hydrogen, molecular hydrogen, on our genes, and how do these affect our overall wellness and well-being? So hydrogen water, when you produce hydrogen water this way, I just plugged it and I just leave it there, and that's all it takes. It doesn't require any sophisticated knowledge on how to operate. Plug and play, that's it. And once it's ready, you just drink like you're drinking water. You carry it about your water bottle. All right, I'll tell you the amount to drink when we get to dosage. All right, but for now, when you drink hydrogen water gets into your body, and about 40% of the hydrogen in the water is absorbed and it goes through your cell membranes, it gets into your cells, and it affects various pathways in your body. Molecular hydrogen that you get from hydrogen water, or when you inhale hydrogen, gets into your body and begins to influence various pathways in the body. And I'm going to be discussing about 7 different pathways that molecular hydrogen will influence for good, for your health benefit. The first one is that there are certain inflammatory cytokines in the body. Inflammatory cytokines, such as TNF alpha and gamma, IL-6, IL-1, IL-10, IL-12, NF-κB. Now, don't worry about those technicalities. Those are just the names for different, substances in your body that influence different activities in your body. They are called inflammatory cytokines. These are the cytokines that increase inflammation in the body. Okay? Now, when you drink hydrogen water, it actually decreases these inflammatory cytokines. In other words, it tames them. And that's highly beneficial to your health. That's the first mechanism of action on our genes. The second one is that hydrogen water actually weakens cancer-causing genes. Now, there are certain factors. I mentioned in one of the earlier episodes that at least we know about 33 different risk factors or factors that can contribute to the causation of cancer. We know at least 33 of them, and there are many others yet to be discovered. Now, one of the risk factors for the development of cancer is your genes. Some studies say that your genes contribute to about 15% of the causation of cancer. In other words, genes, our certain cancer-causing genes are responsible for 15% of all the cancers in the world. Some say less than that. Some even say 5%. Anyhow, we know that there are certain genes that make people to be more predisposed to developing cancer, such as the BRCA gene 1, BRCA gene 2, that is BRCA1 and BRCA2. Those are different types of genes that make a person to be at higher risk for developing breast cancer in women and prostate cancer in men. Okay, if you come from a bloodline, a family where there is this mutated BRCA gene in your bloodline, that is a cancer-causing gene. Okay, now when you drink this hydrogen water or you inhale hydrogen, studies have shown that hydrogen, molecular hydrogen, will weaken these cancer-causing genes, BRCA1, BRCA2. It also reduces others such as caspase-3, caspase-12, caspase-8, BCL2, and BAX. These are all cancer-causing genes in the body. That is the genetic component of the things that make people to develop cancer. So once, if you have been tested, for example, and you find out that you have certain mutated genes in your body that would predispose you to developing cancer in your lifetime more than the average citizen, then by drinking hydrogen water regularly or inhaling hydrogen gas regularly can actually weaken those cancer-causing genes so that they don't express as time goes on. Isn't that a wonderful thing? That's one of the preventive measures, one of the prophylactic uses of hydrogen gas or molecular hydrogen or hydrogen therapy. The third is that molecular hydrogen, either by inhalation or by drinking hydrogen water, actually increases the activity of cancer-fighting genes. Now, so you can see two things here. There are genes that cause cancer in the body, and there are other genes that fight cancer in the body. So molecular hydrogen, either by inhalation or by drinking hydrogen water, can increase the activity of cancer-fighting genes in the body, such as your BFGF gene, your HGF gene, your IFNY gene. Those are all cancer-fighting genes in the body. And drinking hydrogen water can increase the activities of the MEGAD, the protective genes. And then it weakens the activities of the disease-causing genes. Isn't that wonderful? So I've discussed 3 out of the 7 impacts or effects of hydrogen therapy on our genetic expression. Don't go away. We are going on a short break, and I'll be back to continue and give you 4 more effects of hydrogen therapy on our genes and how that influences the outcome of our health.
Introducing healthy newsletters on various health topics by Reverend Tony Akinyemi. To order, call +234 90 732 92100.
My name is Dr. Judith Ezekiel. Sincerely, when I was told about this program, I really don't want to come. I was told about it 2 days. That was on Friday for the program to start on Monday. My first question was, how much is the program? She told me 75,000. I said, for what? That Monday, I don't know what happened. I'm like, oh, they say we are going for nutritional class today. Let me go, at least I can even know what to eat and what to not to eat. When I came and I listened to Reverend Tony, everything about my mindset changed immediately. I used to think I know. I realized that I knows nothing. In my house, I have pelenge, that is lepa. I have orobo. After we were taught on weight management, when I was going home, I stopped at that gate. I bought watermelon. I bought apple. I went to roundabout. I was able to buy cucumber. That morning, I called my daughter, the one that is Orobo, Princess Vera. I said, Mommy, do you know there's something you can do and it's very good for you? You will not be like this. Say, Mommy, what is that? I said, let's start eating this. He said, Mommy, juice it. I juiced that watermelon that morning. She took it. I told her, do you know that when you start taking this, you will look like Mommy? Do you want to look like Mommy? She said, yes. The following day, Tuesday, I did not want to prepare that juice again. She woke up and said, Mommy, why do you ask me to drink tea? You told me that this is what I will be eating. I was shocked. He said, Mommy, do you know that Juliet used to abuse me? Now I will be doing shakara for Juliet and I will be walking like this. The thing touched me. I never knew that this girl has been angry with her body. So what am I trying to say? I'm so happy to be here. I cannot even imagine paying 75,000 for the knowledge I've gotten in this program. In fact, even if they ask me to pay 300,000, I will pay, and I will do Module 2 and Module 3. Thank you so much, Reverend Tony. I'm so proud of you. I'm happy, and I'm going to be the ambassador.
Welcome back. This is Exposé, brought to you by the Shepherd's Flock International Church, and I'm your regular host. Tony Akinyemi is still my name. Don't forget that what we need is not more medication, but what we need is more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. To be informed is to be transformed, and to be uninformed is to be deformed. And that's why we are bringing you life-transforming information, so you can make some investment in different things at home, do-it-yourself, DIY stuff that can continue to enhance the quality of your health, and hopefully by the special grace of God, God being on your side, to live long and enjoy robust health all through your lifetime. We're looking at how hydrogen works in our body, hydrogen therapy, one of the 3 therapeutic gases that we're focusing on out of the 7 that we talked about. We're looking at hydrogen, we're looking at oxygen, and we're looking at ozone. Now we're starting with hydrogen, and we're looking at the mechanism of action of hydrogen therapy on our genes. We have looked at 3 effects so far. Number 1, it decreases inflammatory cytokines in the body. Number 2, it weakens cancer-causing genes in the body. And number 3, it increases the activities of cancer-fighting genes in the body. Now I'm going to give 4 more. Number 4 is that hydrogen therapy reduces the activities of inflammation-related genes, such as the INOS, the VEGF, the CCL2, the ICAM1, and the PGE2. Those are all inflammation-related genes. Now, hydrogen therapy can help to reduce their activities, the same way it reduces the activities of inflammatory cytokines. You've heard about the cytokine storm in people who are infected with COVID-19. That's one of the things that kills people who get infected and they go downhill and eventually die. It's called the cytokine storm. Now, hydrogen therapy has been found to actually tame the cytokine that can cause hyperinflammation in the system. And that is a way that hydrogen therapy may be very helpful in helping those who are infected with COVID-19. Now, number 5, hydrogen water also helps to boost energy metabolism by increasing the FGF21 gene. It boosts your metabolism when you drink hydrogen water regularly or you inhale hydrogen gas. Number 6, hydrogen water also lowers inflammation through another pathway. Now, there are 3 pathways we're already looking at now, how the body goes into hyperinflammation. The first pathway is by the increased activity of inflammatory cytokines. The second pathway is by the increasing activities of inflammation-related genes. And the third pathway is by low level of ghrelin in the body. Now, ghrelin, when ghrelin increases in the body, it lowers inflammation. And hydrogen water, number 6, increases the amount of ghrelin in your system, G-H-R-E-L-I-N. Now, ghrelin helps to tame inflammation, to lower inflammation. So you decrease the cytokines that increase inflammation, you decrease it. The genes that increase inflammation, you decrease the activities. And then the one that actually lowers inflammation, ghrelin, you increase that one. So through those 3 pathways, you tame hyperinflammation in the system. And number 7, hydrogen water activates detoxification genes in the body, such as the NRF2 and the heme oxygenase 1. Those are genes that actually help your body to detox. And hydrogen water has a way of activating that particular pathway. Can't you see how wonderful hydrogen therapy can be? So I expect you to go on Amazon.com or any other source. By the way, this is also available in Nigeria right now. I bought my own from a company that also sells far infrared saunas, energy rooms, and energy buckets, and what have you. This also is available there. They sell 2 for $400 US, equivalent in Naira, so which is like $200 per bottle. All right. Now, that's a good investment in your health, by the way. Now, let's go ahead and look at conditions, medical conditions that respond to hydrogen therapy. When a person does hydrogen therapy, what are the different conditions that will respond? Let's start with the first one, which is infections. And that includes bacterial infections, fungal infections, as well as viral infections. We have already talked about the effect of hydrogen therapy in reducing the cytokine storm during the COVID-19 viral infection. Okay, so it can also help in other viral infections as well. So molecular hydrogen offers a promising adjunctive therapy for the treatment of COVID-19, along with other things. Of course, not the only thing to do. You have to also take your vitamin C, your vitamin D, your zinc, and other ionophores that help zinc ions to be able to cross the membrane, because zinc ions cannot cross the cell membrane as easily as hydrogen ions will cross. So you need an ionophore, a transporter, to help to force zinc ion into the cells to inhibit viral replication. And such ionophores can be things like quercetin, which you find in onions, in garlic. It can also be wormwood, which Artemisia annua, that's the botanical name. It's otherwise known as wormwood. Okay, it contains artemisinin, and that is a very good transporter. DMSO is another very good transporter. There are so many different kinds of transporters that can aid zinc in getting into the cell so that it can inhibit viral replication in case of a viral infection. So hydrogen therapy can be very, very useful and helpful in viral infections. It can be helpful in fungal infections. It can be helpful as well in bacterial infections. The second medical condition that responds very well to hydrogen therapy, and mind you, when I talk about these conditions responding to hydrogen therapy, I do not mean that only hydrogen therapy should be used in attending to them, but the hydrogen therapy is an adjunctive therapy, something you do in addition to whatever else you are doing or whatever else treatment you are receiving. Is that okay? I need to make that clarification. So you don't think that it's a standalone treatment. No, it is not a standalone treatment. You use it as one of the protocols in order to, support other treatment protocols so as to get a good outcome at the end of the day. Number 2, hydrogen therapy helps all kinds of cancers. Again, I emphasize, it is not the only therapy you are going to be using to treat cancer, but it will give its own benefit. It will contribute its own benefits to your cancer treatment. So whether you are taking chemotherapy or you are taking radiotherapy or you are taking alternative cancer therapy or integrative therapy, whatever therapy you are using, when you add hydrogen therapy to it, it will improve your outcome. It will improve your prognosis. It will get you better results. That's what we're talking about. And I'm going to be telling you the different ways that hydrogen therapy supports cancer treatment. The first one is by suppressing tumor growth. Hydrogen therapy helps cancer patients by helping to suppress tumor growth. Now, there's a particular brain tumor that is called glioblastoma. Glioblastoma, or GBM for short. It is the most common type of primary malignant brain tumor. Okay, I call it primary because there are certain brain tumors that are secondary. In other words, maybe a person has prostate cancer or breast cancer or colon cancer, and it was not properly addressed until it became metastatic, and then it migrates, it begins to spread, and some of it can then go into the brain to develop. That's a secondary tumor coming from a primary location. But when you talk about primary tumor, we are talking about the tumor that is coming from nowhere, but primarily developed in that particular organ or tissue or gland. Okay, so glioblastoma is the most common type of primary brain tumor, malignant brain tumor, and a clinical study using laboratory mice has already shown that hydrogen therapy could effectively suppress glioblastoma tumor growth and thereby prolong the survival of mice that have developed glioblastoma. Now, human studies still need to be carried out to substantiate or rule out this particular assertion, but then in mice study, in laboratory mice study, it has already been demonstrated. When mice develop glioblastoma and they are administered hydrogen therapy, it actually suppresses the growth of the tumor. Now, the most recent research done with hydrogen therapy from China suggests that molecular hydrogen may actually exert anti-tumor effect even in ovarian cancer as well, through suppressing the proliferation of CSCs-like cells. Now, in animal studies, 6 weeks of hydrogen inhalation significantly inhibited tumor growth, as evidenced by decreased mean tumor volume by 32.3% and the Ki67 gene expression by 30%. So which means that when you use hydrogen therapy for cancers, it has a way of suppressing the growth of the tumor. It does not allow the tumor to continue to grow bigger and bigger. Now, number 2 way by which hydrogen therapy supports cancer treatment is its anti-angiogenic effect. What does that mean? Now, there's a process called angiogenesis in tumors. Angiogenesis is that process where a tumor develops new blood vessels. It's like a plant that is growing new roots in different directions to continue to suck nutrients from the soil so that it can continue to grow. Now, when tumors develop in the human body, tumors also have this propensity to grow new blood vessels in different directions so that they can grab. So as the patient is eating, all the food is being grabbed by the tumor, and the tumor is getting bigger, whereas the patient is getting leaner because of angiogenesis. Now, so if there's a way you can block the pathway for new blood vessel growth, that blockage is called an anti-angiogenic effect. All right. So research coming out of China has also shown that molecular hydrogen can exert this anti-tumor effect in ovarian cancer by suppressing the proliferation of certain cells and also by causing angiogenesis, by blocking the development of new blood vessels. So the anti-angiogenic effect of hydrogen therapy is very powerful because whatever can block the development of new blood vessels is powerful for cancer patients. There are many such substances out there, by the way. Hydrogen is not the only one. Shark liver oil can do the same thing. Shark cartilage can do the same thing. Certain omega-3 oils can do the same thing. Flaxseed oil and what have you. They all have anti-angiogenesis effect or anti-angiogenic effect. Now, and they carry out this anti-angiogenic effect. Hydrogen therapy carries it out in different ways. Now, hydrogen treatment will decrease the expression of the CD34 gene by 74%, demonstrating its anti-angiogenesis effect. The particular gene that helps the tumor to be able to grow new blood vessels, that gene, CD34, is suppressed up to 74% by hydrogen therapy. Then hydrogen water also blocks angiogenesis in human lung cancer cells, thus indirectly starving the cancer and preventing it from growing and spreading. Because if the tumor cannot grow new blood vessels, then it cannot grab enough food to fund its rapid growth. And so if you starve the tumor, it doesn't get enough food to grow rapidly, then it has a way of slowing down the growth. All right. Now, hydrogen water also proved useful as an effective adjunct to radiotherapy and chemotherapy, as it effectively detoxes the chemical residue from the body after chemotherapy. Okay? And then in recent research papers, hydrogen has been found to be effective in addressing chemotherapy side effects, as well as the acceleration of energy metabolism in the chemotherapy patient. Now, number 3 way in which hydrogen therapy, whether by inhalation or by hydrogen water, can help with cancer patients is its anti-metastatic effect. Again, one of the characteristics of cancers is the ability to metastasize. In other words, the ability to spread from one location to secondary locations. Cancer tumors don't stay in their primary locations. They continue to invade neighboring tissues first. And after some time, 1 or 2 cells will break off from the parent cell, parent tumor, and enter into the bloodstream, and the blood will carry it around, and then it gets to another location. Maybe the cancer is in the breast or is in the prostate, for example, and then the little portion breaks off, gets into the bloodstream, and then it circulates around the body. It gets into the liver or into the lungs or even into the brain or into the bones, and it just uses the glue in the blood called fibrin. There is a substance in the blood called fibrin. The cancer will use fibrin to glue itself to the lungs or to the liver or any other secondary location, and then it will start growing another tumor there. That's called metastasis, when cancer begins to spread and invade the rest of the body. Now, hydrogen therapy has been found to exert an anti-metastatic effect. Okay? In other words, it prevents metastasis. In vitro studies, that is test tube studies, have shown that hydrogen treatment significantly inhibits cancer cell proliferation. It inhibits invasion of neighboring tissues. It inhibits migration and colony formation, both in the HS38 point T cells, that's the human ovarian teratoma cell line, as well as in the PA1 human ovarian teratocarcinoma cell line cells. These are different cell lines that are used in research, okay? They get some cells from tumors, maybe from ovarian tumor, from breast cancer, from prostate cancer, from different, and those cell lines are used in laboratories by scientists to study, so in test tube studies. And they found out that hydrogen therapy actually prevents proliferation, it prevents invasion, it prevents migration, and it prevents colony formation in human ovarian teratoma cell line, as well as human ovarian teratocarcinoma cell lines. And then hydrogen therapy also supports cancer patients by crossing the blood-brain barrier so that it can target brain tumors. Now, brain tumors are some of the most difficult tumors to treat by oncologists. Why? Because quite often when they administer drugs, there is what is known as the blood-brain barrier. Now, I want you to imagine that there's a filter here on the neck such that nothing is allowed to cross from the rest of the body into the brain without being screened. The blood-brain barrier will filter. There are a few items that the body will allow to get into the brain because the brain is so delicate that the body doesn't just allow anything to go there. So very selected items are permitted to cross the blood-brain barrier and get into the brain. That's why when something happens to the head, if there's a problem in the brain or problems in the eye, sometimes if you take medications, you swallow medications orally, or even if you take it sometimes intravenously or intramuscularly, they don't get to the brain, they don't get to the eyes. That's why when people have eye infections like conjunctivitis, what we call Apollo, when you have this bacterial infection in the eyes, You can take antibiotic from here to tomorrow. It will circulate around the rest of the body. It won't get here. That's why the particular antibiotics that are applied for eye infections are made into eye drops. So you apply it as drops directly to the eyes so that it can, cross. It has already crossed the blood-brain barrier up here. So there is a barrier that filters things that go into the brain. Now, because of the peculiar nature of molecular hydrogen, just as it easily crosses the cell membrane into the cells and into the organelles of the cells, molecular hydrogen, can also cross easily the blood-brain barrier. And that means that when you take hydrogen therapy, either by inhalation or by drinking hydrogen water, it actually can cross the blood-brain barrier and get into tumors even in the brain. Now, because hydrogen is so small, it can diffuse freely across cell membranes, including the blood-brain barrier. And this is important when you are treating brain tumors. Anything you apply, you want it to be able to get to the brain because it is inside the location where the problem lies that the effect you are looking for should be exerted. And so when hydrogen is able to get there, it's able to exert its therapeutic effect. Now, hydrogen seems to work at the nuclear gene transcription level. It tells our cells to start pumping out more powerful free radical scavengers, removing and destroying dangerous cancer cells, turning them into water, H2O, yes? Hydrogen therapy, when it is able to get to cancer cells and it penetrates the cancer cells, it turns the cancer cell into water. It kind of liquefies it, and then it is naturally eliminated by the body. So this is how far we are going to go today regarding the conditions that hydrogen therapy, either by inhalation or by drinking hydrogen-rich water, can exert on the body. It can help with infections and it can help with cancers. And I've described the mechanisms of action, how and why it's able to do that. In the next episode, we'll be sharing maybe 7 more specifically of the areas that hydrogen therapy can address, and then I'll give you a summary of all the conditions that hydrogen therapy can support, and maybe that will inspire you to go get your own hydrogen water bottle. Thank you for spending your time with us. This has been Exposé with Tony Akinyemi, brought to you by the Shepherd's Flock International Church. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education. For the best prescription is knowledge. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so now. And if you have not liked us on Facebook, please go ahead and do so. And you can watch all past episodes on our YouTube channel. And don't forget to leave your comments. Don't forget to also send us your queries, your questions, your inquiries, and we're very glad to be able to respond to you. God bless you. By the way, before I go, let me also remind you that we have the Rafa Institute of Healthy Living. Rafa Institute of Healthy Living, RIHL, and we offer courses on healthy living in modules, short modules, module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4, and so on. And these things will equip you and help you to be able to attend to yourself, attend to your family, and attend to people in your circle of influence. Now, module 1, module 2, module 3, they are already available online, virtually, for those who are not within Nigeria. You don't have to fly into Nigeria to attend our classes. You can do that online. Just go to our website and you will find that. I believe information will be displayed on the screen. And we have occasional in-person classes. Some people just want to be in a classroom setting. They want to see me face-to-face and see other facilitators face-to-face. We have professors, we have medical doctors, we have pharmacists, we have nutritionists, we have naturopathic doctors, we have osteopathic doctors, all kinds of professionals and experts in different fields on our faculty. And they will dish out to you depths and depths of information for your transformation. Please enroll and join us either online or in person. When you come in person, we also give you food throughout the week, so you see the kind of food that you should be eating. Of course, those online, there's no way we can give you food. We can only give you e-food, if you can make any sense of that. Thank you. Have a very beautiful Monday evening, and let the rest of the week be blessed for you in Jesus' mighty name. I love you. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Introducing Healthy Newsletters on various health topics by Reverend Tony Akinyemi. To order, call +234 90 732 92100.